Good morning. Welcome to the Burger Trucking Show. Today is another day. As you can see, it's cloudy, it's overcast, but we're making money, so today is a good day. Things are starting to pick up in the Chicagoland container market, which is good news across the board. Obviously, the more imports, exports that are being shipped through the container yards, that means the more work for all you dry van guys. Uh, Workflow velocity is picking up. Good news. Uh, what I want to talk about on today's show is an idea that popped into my head. I'm a local guy, so I may be missing some things. I may be thinking of some things wrong. But I wanted to put this idea out there. You guys can think about it, mull it over, maybe talk about it on your shows, talk about it in the background, maybe put something together. All these guys in Washington, D.C., I have representatives in Washington, D.C. that I voted for, duly elected. Uh, I don't need random people up there claiming to represent me and my industry or my subsect of the industry or you know my business. Uh, so that being that, it's America. They're free to do what they want to do, but I don't necessarily agree with it, and I definitely do not agree with them, trying to get laws changed and regulations put in place. Um, you know, I'm more of a believer in freedom. You're free to succeed and you're free to fail. The choice is yours. At any rate, that kind of got me thinking about something else. Uh, I grew up here in the Midwest. I've lived here in Northern Illinois all my life. And around here, there's a fairly large farm community. Well, that got me to thinking, why don't some of these guys, because we have all these different trucking groups, i.e., boots on the ground, and the I think there's like two or three different quote unquote groups that are in Washington D.C. Um, but why don't they get together like the farmers did decades ago and start co-ops? Uh, you could do it in the trucking industry where you get various small carriers, single truck owner operators, um, to essentially set up and enter into a co-op. You could get like Spartan, Spectre, uh, um, Jeffrey Like, James Best. You could get all those guys to set up a co-op, and that gives you power because now instead of a single truck operation or a 12 truck operation and a 4 truck operation, now you have a 17 truck operation. You can work the agreements out however you want to. I mean, it's completely, you know, up to the members and the attorney drawing up the contract. So you could do it where the co-op has a brokerage, has a broker's license for the co-op. So now the co-op can go at companies and get contract freight, and then the co-op as a whole services that contract. And you can have it set up within the co-op bylaws, to where the co-op itself, being the brokerage takes 20% of the load. That 20% goes for paying overhead on the brokerage, overhead on the co-op, and that money plus maybe, you know, annual dues or biannual dues or even monthly dues could be used to uh, purchase trailers, to start a trailer pool, to get bigger contracts that require trailer pools. Uh, then you could also set it up in the contracts to where, uh, you know, if Snorlord drops and hooks to service one of the contracts, he gets paid X amount of dollars uh, per day for basically the co-op renting his trailer that he owns. And if however you set it up, once the co-op has enough money to where it wants to start buying its own trailers, uh, you know, Snorlord could just sell his trailer to the co-op and then not have to worry about rent and stuff like that. And stuff like that you can set up, uh, kind of a quasi trailer pool maintenance fund, um, that would be taken care of by the dues and the brokerage fee. Um, but I want to throw that out as an idea, something for maybe you guys to ponder. Again, I'm not in the OTR world. I do have aspirations of growing my company, and someday, probably 5 years down the road, uh, maybe adding an OTR division. Um, but a co-op would be an answer. Uh, if you ran the co-op good, obviously every member is a voting member of the co-op, just like in the farms. Uh, so it's no one person. One person might be, say, the CEO or COO, but all of the members are essentially board members with equal voting rights. So you're not having like one or two guys running the whole show. It's a true co-op, a cooperative. But if you ran it good and you built it right, you could end up where a year from now you have 1,000 members in your co-op. Shit, now you're playing with the big boys. Now when the co-op goes to different companies to negotiate contract freight, they're not a single truck owner operator. They're not a 5 truck small carrier. They are 1,000+ trucks at the ready. Uh, you know, and I mean, in short order, if you're doing it right, in fairly short order, you could grow that co-op to 5,000 members strong, and now you're playing with the Swifts. You're playing with the JB Hunts. Like you're on that level as far as getting major contract freight across the country. And then you don't have to worry about minimums. you don't have to worry about broker transparency because you have that already within your co-op. You know, if it's set up 80-20 split, that you're getting 80% of that load. And you know basically what that other 20% is going towards. It's going towards building the co-op, adding more trailers to the trailer pool so that you can get more contracts and bigger contracts. Um, but then you cut out the brokers altogether. Uh, the C.H. Robinsons, the Ubers, the Coyotes, and you're handling it yourselves. And you have your voting members where everybody has a say in it. You know, and I mean, if you get to 5,000 members, maybe you do a split where you have an elected board of directors of maybe 100 members, and then you have your essentially voting shareholders. So certain things can be voted on by the board, and other things require everyone to have a vote. You can set all that up in the bylaws, you know. Um, but something to throw out there. I see some of you out there. I see you making big moves. You're trying to make big moves. You're growing things in what I perceive to be the right way. Uh, just throwing it out there. I think that's the route to go. I think that solves all the problems that these fine folks in Washington, D.C. are complaining about. And you don't need government intervention. And you have a seat at the table. If you grow your co-op to 5,000 plus members, you're talking 5,000, maybe even in the ballpark of 10,000 trucks, because this member over here might have 5 trucks. He's got his truck and 4 company drivers driving for him. So you'd be 5,000 plus trucks. Well, now you have a voice in Washington just like Swift does. Now, shit, you call the White House, somebody might answer. Somebody might, somebody at the ATA might say, "Oh shit, okay, well maybe we need to get these independents on board with all the mega carriers, or however that happens." But just food for thought, just something for you guys to think about. I think it would be, I don't know. Again, I'm just spitballing, thinking off the top of my head here, but I think that could be the future of the industry, quite honestly. Independence. Uh, I don't know the real numbers, but I keep hearing guys throwing out numbers like 80%, 90% of the industry is independents and small carriers, like less than 10 truck carriers or less than 100 truck carriers. The megas only make up 5% of the industry. Well, this is a way through the co-op system to give yourself the same negotiating power and the same stance in the industry as the mega carriers, and you could get there in 24 months. Like, I don't think it would be hard to get to 5,000 members in 24 months if you had the right people at the helm from the get go and you were showing that you were building that co op correctly. Uh, and then you don't have to worry about slow times. You don't have to worry about downturns in the market. You don't have to worry about these janky ass brokers, you know, taking too much of the load. Um, you know, you can alleviate all the problems that you have with the industry by getting together and doing it yourself, just like the farmers did. So that's my 2 cents. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I gave you something to think about. And I really do hope that some of these guys will think about it and give thoughts on it. I don't know. I'm just a guy, but sounds solid to me. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the Brugger Trucking Show. You guys have a great day. I'm going to go do my job and I am going to make some money. It's going to be a good week. If I don't see you guys again, I hope that you have a great Memorial Day weekend. I know as for me and my fam, we are going up to a family owned campground up in Wisconsin. We're going to throw back some rum and cokes. The wife might have some gin and tonics. We're going to do a little playing on the lake. Going to have some fun, relax. And hopefully when we come back, it'll be balls to the wall and we can make some money. So, you guys have a good one. Bye now.